First of all, what do you guys think of this tier list? What would you change about it? What do you think? What is there something that you think is dumb? Something off of Hammer S tier? Yeah, a lot of people are upset of where I put a Hammer. Everyone has varying opinions. That's very cool. The top 5 are unordered. No, I said the top 5 were ordered. Unless... Yeah, top 5 is ordered, not unordered. So here, this is what I think. Greatsword has the highest skill ceiling out of any weapon in the game. It has the most moves, like more than any other weapon, more than Scythe. And it's not bad. It is not a bad weapon. It has like everything you need, like literally. It's insane juggling, insane combos, insane threat, good range. The finisher's force is like not even fair. The weapon still plays the same on hit, and I think it has the most potential. So that's why I think Greatsword is the best in the game. It's fine if other people don't see that, but personally, I think Greatsword, like played properly, is the best weapon in the game. I don't think it needs a buffs, and I think it would only need like nerfs. I think mainly just nerfing things like the force finishers are like, those are like crazy strong. Those are crazy strong. And honestly, I'm not too sure what else. I think a main weakness though, like Greatsword would have, it's not perfect. It's kind of lackluster off stage. Playing off stage, like mixing up recoveries, is really hard. And Lance, the only like bad matchup I think would be like Lance. Like after playing Costlix, like I actually feel Lance does well against Greatsword. Maybe not wins, but I need to look into it. Cause the way you want to play post-patch Greatsword is like abusing the air kit a lot, and Lance was beating Greatsword in the air and on the ground, so that might be like the only tough matchup. I'll be honest. Why Hammer so low? I'll get to that. Next is Gauntlets. Everybody knows the deal with Gauntlets. It's just a 3-piece machine. Ridiculous off stage, even more ridiculous on stage. Easy combos, everything kills, reliable. Gauntlets are just like broken. They're so broken. I don't even think I need to say anything more about that. I think everybody understands that Gauntlets are just crazy. So that's it for S tier. I think A tier is just like everything in A tier is really good. Every weapon in Brawlhalla is extremely good. Everything is viable. The least viable weapon would be blasters. Axe is like, dude. Axe is like so insane, dude. Like on the ground, it's like the best weapon on the ground. Like all you have to do is like wait. If you see them in the air, you downlight. There's no end lag, and it hits grounded. End light is like insanely fast. You can flow ground moves into each other with Axe that you just miss. It like has insane range, absurd hitboxes, insane kill power, and it's extremely consistent. The hitboxes make it extremely consistent. Like you just have to play a slower game with Axe, and I think Axe is like top 3, like no question. Actually, it's insane. It is such a cheesy weapon. It is so cheesy. All the mix-ups, it has like the easiest punish tool in the game. Axe Sidelight is the easiest punish tool in the game. And Sidelight Nair, easy 30 damage, and you can do mix-ups after it. This is like a string weapon pretty much. Axe is insane. Literally all the hitboxes are circles. I think the biggest thing about this weapon is the hitboxes. Like that's why it's so good. That's why it's so good. I used to think Axe was worse, but like I just see now like everyone plays Axe. I'm starting to play Axe. Like I think Axe is like absolutely ridiculous. Alright, next weapon, Sword. I mean, Sword is just like one of the most consistent weapons in the game. It's like the best secondary weapon to have. Really simple neutral, really simple punishes. It's just good at everything. Like it doesn't really have like a super strong weakness, but it's also not. It's overloaded, but it's also not like super overloaded. Like most of the stuff on the weapon makes sense, and it's just a good, consistent weapon, really. You can't go wrong with playing sword. So I put it there in 4th. Scythe as 5th. This is a jump up from where I've placed Scythe before. Scythe strings are like crazy damage. Like you get one read, you can get up to 70 damage. Scythe has more moves than almost every other weapon in the game except for Greatsword. Scythe is the best offstage weapon. The only reason I didn't put it higher, like I think these all are better than Scythe. These all beat Scythe. And Scythe can struggle to kill, really. Scythe is pretty honest in that regard, but Scythe has a really hard time getting in on these 4 weapons, so I think Scythe also has a ton of potential. I think it's better than all these weapons, but I think these weapons beat Scythe. So yeah, I think no way that it isn't top 5. It's really strong. It's insane offstage, insane strings, extremely fast, a lot of pressure, but it's not like too insane. So I think it's top tier, but I don't think it's like these 4 weapons. Okay, on to these brackets. These are all the same in A tier, but I put these brackets because what this means is I think these 3 weapons are equal to each other. I think these 3 weapons are like equal to each other in strength, and then the next bracket, I think these 4 weapons are equal to each other in strength. Like, I like think of these 4 weapons, I think they're like the same in strength, like actually, and these 3. Bow got a small nerf last patch, but it is still extremely strong. Like you cannot go wrong with bow. If you were good with bow before, you'll still be good with bow. It feels the same. It has all the same setups. But no other reason other than I think these 5 weapons are better than bow. That's the only reason bow is after Scythe. I think these 5 weapons are better than bow. I used to think bow was a lot higher, but after some patches and some just playing with it more, I think bow is still extremely strong, just not as strong as these 5 weapons. Katars. So Katars have the lamest neutral in the game. Like, absolutely, like, the lamest neutral in the game. I see everyone bandwagoning against Katars. I think Katars are, like, top 3. Or, like, the best weapon because of how you can play. Like, we all know the Megd tech, right? But the reason I put Katars here and not anywhere higher is because I actually think it's really easy to bait out Katar options. Like, I think Scythe does really good into Katars. I think Sword and Axe do good into Katars. I think it's really easy to bait out the ground moves and just punish if you're like really trying. And the combos with Katars, like lower decks Katar Legends, and not even higher decks Katar Legends, the setups of the moves on Katars are inconsistent. Like I see combos drop all the time just because the setup locations are inconsistent. Like I played a community tournament 2 days ago against Stingray, and I could go back and see where he would have a Katar string on me, and it would literally drop, and I would take the stock or the game because of it. And I don't think a weapon with that kind of stuff should be anywhere near, like, this range. Like, I can consistently bait out Katar's options. Like, I noticed that, and their combos drop. They are prone to dropping randomly. So I don't think Katars are as good as everyone says. Like, I really don't. They're really strong and really dumb. Like, again, they have the lamest neutral in the game, like, by far. But just those issues is why I wouldn't put it any higher. Like, really. I can see why people would think it's, like, top 3, but I just disagree. It's that simple. Now, Orb. Orb's just a solid middle weapon. You know, it's kind of like Sword. I think Sword's better than Orb. Sword and Orb play like exactly the same. They play like exactly the same. Orb is more stringy and has like Dare. Dare's like the cheese move, like off stage. But it's really not that threatening. Like if you're in red health, you know what to look for on Orb most of the time. Sword has more mix-ups in that regard. But Orb is really strong, very consistent weapon. I'd put it with these two. Seems like red bracket has good neutral but struggles to kill, and blue bracket will have a tougher time in neutral with easier kill options. That actually wasn't my thought process, but ordering all the weapons together, this all made sense. So I guess that does make sense. I guess that was unintentional, but that's actually a very good observation. That is a really good observation. That is actually, like, perfect. That's absolutely right, dude. These weapons don't really kill, but have a strong neutral, and these weapons don't. The game is very neutral based, and I think these weapons are stronger. So next, except for Spear. Spear can kind of kill pretty easy, but that's why it's here and not the rest. But, yeah. So this bracket, the blue bracket, Spear, I used to think Spear was like way crazier than it is, but you know, after patches, after playing with it a lot, I've been playing with a lot of different weapons, including like Spear and stuff. So it just helps me make new opinions on weapons all the time. So I think Spear is really strong, but I don't know. I just think all these weapons just do good against it. Like, just about. Like, Spear, if you're good with Spear, you'll be able to like handle these matchups no problem. But I just think these weapons have a slight edge over Spear. Yeah, the Spear Sarah nerf is very noticeable. Very noticeable. The Downlight nerf was really good. I think that's a good change. But the Sarah one is extremely noticeable. They changed the hitbox and the recovery time. So Spear, not much to say really. It's really strong, but it's just boring. I think these weapons are better. Yeah. Cannon. You know, silly moves. High startup, 0 end lag. Sarah has no end lag. Dare has no end lag. Dare is like one of the best light moves in the game. So is Nair. Neutral light is really good. Well, Cannon's really good. The Cannon's problem is priority. Cannon's neutral is extremely hard to play. Like, extremely hard to play against, like, most of these weapons. That's, like, the biggest problem. If you have a really good neutral, you can pull off Cannon, but it's, like, really hard. That's why I put Cannon here. Pretty much the same reason I put Hammer this low. I used to think Hammer was better. Hammer's neutral is, like, pretty telegraphed. So you can, like, react to most of what Hammer does. Like, that's just how I feel. Like, this weapon can just kill you. Like, if you're not paying attention, this weapon can just straight up kill you. But if you look out for the right things, like, for me, Nair is reactable. Why did I think Hammer was so good before? You know what, Java, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you, man. I was blind. I was blinded. But there are some things on Hammer I would still change, like, same with Cannon. Like, Cannon Dare needs to be nerfed. Like, and Hammer Recovery needs to be nerfed. Like, actually. Hammer Recovery needs to be nerfed. So does Cannon Dare. Just because weapons are down here doesn't mean they don't need changes, like Katars Sidelight Impulse. But, yeah. Hammer neutral is really predictable. If you play neutral really well with all these weapons, you should be able to shut down Hammer. But Hammer has like that just kill you instantly option. Now Lance, Lance is okay. Lance is like whatever. But like I still really don't know what I think about Lance, so I just put it like down here. I think it's better than guns for sure. I think guns are the worst weapon. For sure. Lance is alright. I actually have nothing to say about Lance, like actually. I actually have nothing to say about Lance. I think I'll move on to guns. Like, I don't care about Lance. Blasters, they're just like, they're just noticeably worse than like all of these other weapons. Like blasters are really good in 2s, but in a 1v1 setting, like it's just really hard to space stuff on guns. Like sword versus guns is so easy. Gauntlets versus guns is so easy. Axe versus guns is so easy. Scythe so easy. Bow so easy. Like it's just so easy to beat blasters. Like they have like 2 kill options. If you look out for those 2 kill options, which is recovery or downlight into recovery, or just a raw Sarah, you won't die. You like, yeah, it's just blasters are just aren't the pick right now. Now that doesn't make them bad. Like they're in B tier. The weapon's not bad. It's just noticeably worse than all the other weapons, and it has an extremely high skill ceiling, so that makes it even harder. Yeah, they have some stuff like off stage they're really good. You can mix up your recovery, and Nair is insane off stage, but damage output isn't too crazy, and the kill power isn't too crazy. And I don't know. Honestly, the only change I would do to guns, they need to give it a neutral light. Someone can spot dodge on the ground. Neutral light with guns is a punish, and they'll have their dodge back at the end of it. They need to speed up the move, like guns downlight. All they have to do is speed up the move, and they'd be able to make Endlight like an actual move. Like Endlight is trash in ones. It doesn't do anything. It's so bad. Like, if they sped up Endlight, it would also nerf it in 2s. Because it would give the teammate less time to follow up off of it. If you made it Endlight, it would just be good for both game modes. It would be healthier for the weapon. Downlight Nair is the best true kill confirm. Do I agree? It's actually like one of the best kill confirms on canon in the game. Downlight Nair. After they buffed Nair, like at the beginning of the year, it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, that's pretty much my tier list. That's why I think the way I do. Explain more of how to fight Katars. You have to wait a lot. You have to bait out like their like Endlights and downlights. You have to punish the hard stuff. Like you have to focus on their habits when they do Endlight. Not so much sidelight, because if they miss a sidelight, like you bait a sidelight, you can just react to it and punish it. If you want to beat a Katars player, you want to like focus on their micro habits, like moves like. You want to focus exactly on how they use Endlight and Downlight, because if you start punishing those, they'll start throwing out less moves. Because if you successfully punish their safest moves by baiting them, they will start to use those moves less, or they'll start to double take themselves. They'll start to doubt their options. That's how I beat Katars. That's why I think Scythe is really good at Katars, because it does this chip damage with like Dare. You can do so much in the air and like not worry about anything. What moves do you punish Katar Endlight with? Well, I'm just talking about Scythe. You just have to be ready. Like Endlight, I can think of a punish on Hammer. You bait an Endlight or something. Maybe Dare. Maybe run up Stomp if you're on the ground. You have to be really fast to beat Katars. Like, Katars are the slowest weapon, but you have to be fast. You have to be fast about it. You have to be fast on every punish. Katars are really hard to fight, yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend playing Hammer into Katars, honestly. But Sword's really good at punishing. Like, D-Light, you can just Dare. Endlight, you just Dare. Like, if you use your strong neutral tools to bait out stuff on Katars, you just have to be fast about it. But, yeah. That's my tier list.